Updates on cyclone Ditwa. Now, rescuers in Sri Lanka were still retrieving bodies from mud after last week's cyclone, the island's worst natural disaster in decades. Cyclone Ditwa lashed the country last week, bringing catastrophic floods and landslides that killed more than 460 people, left hundreds missing and damaged some 30,000 homes. Though the rain has stopped, recovery has just begun. The authorities have given top priority to reopening road access to the region, which is still supplied by air. More than 1 million people have been affected by the disaster, and President Anura Kumara Dissanayake has declared a state of emergency and appealed for international assistance. And India continues to undertake search, rescue and relief operations in Sri Lanka under Operation Sagar Bandhu. The National Disaster Response Force teams worked at Serawata and Nadigama areas near Colombo and rescued over 43 people so far. Further rescue efforts at the site are ongoing. With water levels at 8 to 10 feet and with strong flows, NDRF teams continue to save the most vulnerable and ensure every life is brought to safety. In continuation of ongoing relief efforts, an Indian Air Force C-17 airlifted a para-field hospital with equipment and 73 medical personnel from Agra to Colombo on Tuesday. IAF Mi-17 helicopters transported 8,250 kilograms of essential supplies and evacuated 60 survivors and 5 children, including 3 Australian and 2 German nationals, along with critically ill patients and a pregnant woman. IAF remains steadfast in delivering timely and effective humanitarian assistance and disaster relief support. As part of India's commitment of Neighbourhood First, special contingent of Indian Army has reached Sri Lanka to undertake the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. The contingent from Shatrujit Brigade will provide critical relief, restore essential services and support families in Sri Lanka affected by Cyclone Ditwa. The mission embodies India's civilizational pledge of Vasudev Kutumbakam, the world is one family, as the Indian Army stands firmly with Sri Lanka in its hour of need. All right, Dr. Ahmed Moin Faruqi joins us from Colombo to give us the latest on that. Dr. Faruqi, what's the latest on the ground on the rescue operations, and what are local officials saying about the scale of damage and the immediate needs on the ground?
Abhishek, you see the scale of damage has been huge with regard to the way we are seeing the roads being damaged, the bridges being completely destroyed. There are many places where power lines were down, and even the telecommunication networks are down even now. In fact, the government has prioritized communication to be restored, that is to be as one of the priorities, and secondly the road network to again be restored. As we speak, there are still many places which are still inundated because of the floods, and the government has announced that 22 districts out of 25 in the entire island of Sri Lanka are disaster hit, and they require special assistance. So given all these circumstances, there are regions which are still flood hit and still reeling under the inundation and the rise in water levels. That is one part of it. The second part is that on many muddy and slopey regions where the soil is loose, there is a risk of landslides, which is even now threatening many regions. So the priority has been to evacuate these people as of now from these landslide prone areas. That is one. Secondly, to rescue and search and rescue and recover people who are stuck in places which are inundated and flood hit. So both of these things are happening simultaneously. At the same time, we must also realize that NDRF teams are doing their activity on one hand. Secondly, we have our Indian Air Force helicopters which are continuously they're conducting sorties, airlifting people from flood hit regions. Yesterday they airlifted from 2 different places, from Mandara Nuwara as well as from Port Malay, one place 17, another 24, which included heart patients as well as pregnant women. So whatever India has been doing is huge with regard to the way to rescue people from these flood hit regions as well as from the landslide prone places. But still, the entire island is still, there are many places in it which are grappling with struggles, and hopefully more relief material could be able to reach these cut-off regions once the road networks get re-established. That is one part of it which the government is trying in every which way to try to do it using alternate routes. Abhishek.
Dr. Farooqi, you have spoken about India's assistance, ongoing assistance to Sri Lanka, and India continues to undertake search, rescue and relief operations there under Operation Sagar Bandhu. Tell us, how are the Indian Air Force teams coordinating their efforts with local authorities in Sri Lanka?
See, most of the activities are hybrid, primarily because it has to be coordinated along with Sri Lankan Air Force. So the Sri Lankan Air Force is identifying the places where the most important relief or rescue needs to be conducted. Once the details from them is passed on the basis of the Disaster Management Center's details, then an incident command situation is created according to that. They proceed according to the guidelines of Sri Lankan Air Force. And then from there, they are rescuing these people. So there are Sri Lankan Air Force personnel also alongside, they're working alongside Indian Air Force personnel. And it's a coordinated, well-coordinated and structured kind of a response team that India has already put up there with regard to the Air Force as well as with regard to the NDRF also. Even the NDRF is also conducting the operations, coordinating with the tri-forces of Sri Lanka on the basis of which is the most affected and where they could help save lives in a better manner. So this is all being done with association with the local authorities, with coordination with them, and they are taking the local authorities' help wherever it's required with regard to providing of additional equipment whenever there's necessity. Abhishek.
All right, Dr. Farooqi, thank you for the timing, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you.